Welcome to the Stoic Golden Tribe, where enduring wisdom meets the strength of presence, and where we uncover the truths modern society refuses to teach men. In today's video, we're going to break down a psychological truth that most men don't understand. Yet it's one of the most powerful shifts you can make in how women perceive and respond to you. When you act like she doesn't matter, she loses her mind. Now let's be clear, this isn't about playing cruel games or treating anyone with disrespect. This is about you understanding your value so deeply, so unshakably, that you stop placing a woman on a pedestal and start living like the prize you truly are. Because the moment you stop chasing, the dynamic shifts. The moment you walk in purpose, grounded in emotional strength, her curiosity, desire, and even obsession begin to rise. This video will give you the mindset, the tools, and the real-life emotional intelligence behind that dynamic. We'll explore why women crave mystery, how attention affects attraction, and why presence, not pursuit, creates desire. By the end, you'll know exactly how to move with confidence and power, and never again fall into the trap of neediness that silently kills desire. So before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Stoic Golden Tribe, and drop a comment below. Let's build a brotherhood of strong, emotionally intelligent men who lift each other up. Now, let's get into it. Chapter 1. Understanding the Psychology of Attention and Desire. Look, Statu, I want you to listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you isn't some pickup line trick or a cheap tactic to manipulate women. It's a truth about human psychology, especially about how women respond to men's attention. Most men don't realize this. Society trains you to think that if you just give her more attention, more validation, more approval, she'll want you more. But the reality? That approach makes you predictable. It makes you easy. It removes all the mystery, all the tension, and worst of all, it signals that you don't value yourself. When you act like she's the center of your universe, you're telling her you have nothing else going on, no mission, no purpose, no other options. Now you might think that sounds romantic, but for a woman, it's suffocating, it's unattractive. Why? Because women are wired to respond to value. Let me put this in clear terms. Your attention is currency. If you hand it out freely, it's worthless. But when you guard it, when you choose carefully where it goes, it's precious. When you act like she doesn't matter, not because you hate her or want to hurt her, but because you're too focused on your purpose to chase, you change the entire dynamic. You stop being the man begging for approval. You become the man who has options, who's busy, who's on his path, and that is magnetic. It triggers a woman's innate curiosity, her competitive instinct, her need to prove herself worthy of your time. This is why so many guys who are nice but needy get ignored, while men who seem indifferent, who are hard to pin down, stay on her mind all day. Here's the uncomfortable truth. A woman cannot desire a man she pities. If she senses you're desperate for her attention, she loses respect. But when you make it clear you're not dependent on her validation, that you could take it or leave it, she has to earn it. You flip the script entirely. That's not manipulation. That's self-respect. It's emotional intelligence. Now let's be clear about something else. This doesn't mean being rude. It doesn't mean insulting her, ghosting her randomly, or playing childish mind games. Emotional intelligence is about knowing when to withdraw your energy and when to give it. It's knowing your attention is a gift, not an obligation. So when I say act like she doesn't matter, I don't mean you're cruel. I mean you're unbothered, you're composed. You're not letting her see that your entire mood depends on whether she calls you back or answers your text. You don't reward flaky behavior with even more interest. You don't rearrange your life for someone who hasn't even earned your commitment. You are willing to walk away, and that willingness is the foundation of true attraction. Think about this. Imagine a man with a powerful mission. He's building his business, working out, reading, leading others. He has a full life. A woman enters his world. She wants his time. If he instantly drops everything for her, she realizes he was just waiting around with nothing better to do. That's when the spark dies. But if she sees he's focused, selective, unshaken by her hot and cold games, she leans in, she starts to pursue because he's communicating without words. I am the prize. I am not here to chase. I choose carefully. That is irresistible. Men don't get taught this. You're told to be available, to prove yourself, to shower her with attention, but the men women respect, admire, and desire, they know better. They know they don't need to convince anyone of their worth. They simply live it. They don't try to win her over. They let her qualify herself. Because they know that their energy, time, and attention are scarce resources. And anything scarce is valuable. Let me tell you something that will change the way you see dating forever. You train people how to treat you by what you tolerate. If you tolerate disrespect, flakiness, or lukewarm interest, you teach her it's acceptable. But if you have standards, if you're willing to walk away at the first sign of disrespect, you teach her she has to rise to your level. That's the power of acting like she doesn't matter, not because she's worthless, but because you refuse to put her on a pedestal she hasn't earned. So I want you to remember this: your mission must come first. Your purpose is the foundation of your masculinity. A woman should be an addition to your life, not the center of it. If you make her your sun, you'll revolve around her and lose yourself. But if you stand as your own sun, she will orbit you. Because you'll be the rare man who cannot be moved by validation, who cannot be manipulated by beauty alone. You'll be the man she thinks about constantly because you're not predictable, you're not needy, you're solid, you're the prize. This is what we're going to explore in even more depth in the next chapters. Exactly how to develop that unshakable self-respect, how to create powerful boundaries, and how to lead interactions with masculine confidence and emotional intelligence. Because the moment you master this, you stop chasing, you start attracting, and you become the kind of man no woman can easily forget. Drop a comment below with "I attract, not chase," if you're ready to level up your mindset and embody this powerful truth. Chapter 2. The Power of Detachment and How It Triggers Her Desire. Let's dive deeper. You see, if you really want to understand how to make a woman lose her mind over you, you need to master one principle above all: detachment. Not coldness, not cruelty. Detachment. It's the art of caring without clinging, of being present without being possessive. Most men get this wrong. They think love means obsession, that to show you care, you have to revolve your entire life around her. But what they don't realize is that healthy attraction thrives on space, on tension, on the unknown. A woman doesn't want to feel like you're already hers before she's earned it. She wants to win you. She wants to feel your standards, your strength. She wants to know she can lose you if she disrespects you. That's the fuel of her desire. Let's get brutally honest. Most guys smother the attraction. They text too much. They compliment too much. They make themselves permanently available. And what happens? She pulls away. She doesn't even understand why. She just feels it. Her biology rebels against the imbalance because deep down, women want a man they can look up to, a man who values himself enough not to grovel for affection, a man who can walk away. When you act like she doesn't matter, in the sense that your purpose and your standards come first, you communicate this effortlessly. You show her you're whole without her. And ironically, that's when she wants you most. Here's a truth most men never hear. A woman tests you because she wants to know you're unbreakable. She might play hard to get. She might cancel plans last minute. She might flirt with other men to see your reaction. It's not because she's evil. It's because she wants to see if you're the real deal. Will you crumble at the first sign of challenge? Will you chase harder, grovel, beg for validation? Or will you calmly step back and let her come to you? The man who can do that, who can stay unreactive, unbothered, is the man she respects, and respect is the foundation of attraction. Now let's talk about your mindset, because this isn't just about how you treat her. It's about how you see yourself. When you truly value yourself, you don't hand out your time, energy, or attention cheaply. You know that your focus is your most valuable asset. You guard it, You invest it only where it grows. And if someone shows they don't appreciate it, you withdraw it immediately, with no drama. That's masculine discipline. And that's the essence of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence isn't about being emotionless. It's about mastering your emotions so they don't master you. It's about knowing when to express yourself and when silence is more powerful. It's about understanding that not every reaction deserves a response. When you act like she doesn't matter, again, not with cruelty, but with composure, you're showing her you're in control of yourself. That's rare, and rare is valuable. I want to give you a practical example. Say you're texting a woman and she suddenly goes cold. Most guys panic. They double text, they call, they try to win her back. But what does the grounded man do? He does nothing. He accepts it calmly. He goes back to his purpose, his mission, his workout, his business, his brothers. And guess what? That silence echoes in her mind. She starts to wonder, why isn't he chasing me? Why isn't he worried? Is he seeing someone else? Did I lose him? She feels the shift in power, and 9 times out of 10, she comes back. Because you didn't give her the validation she was testing for. You didn't fold. This is why I say your willingness to walk away is your greatest power. Most men fear losing her so much they give up all their power. They abandon their standards, they let her lead. But a man who knows his worth never fears loss, because he knows he can attract again. He knows there are other women out there. And even more importantly, he knows his mission is bigger than any single relationship. When you live like that, you're free, you're unchained, you're attractive as hell. Now, let's talk about attention. Your attention must be earned. If she disrespects you, withdraw it. If she's cold, match her energy, or better yet, pull back even further. If she's flaky, don't chase. And if she comes back, welcome her. But don't forget the lesson. Boundaries aren't punishments, they're standards. You don't hold grudges, you don't play petty games. You simply show her what's acceptable. This is leadership. Women crave this, even if they don't admit it. You're not doing this to make her feel bad. You're doing it to keep your dignity intact. Because here's the truth. A man without boundaries is a man without respect. From himself or anyone else. When you stop fearing her loss, you gain her interest. When you're okay without her, you become the man she wants most. This is why acting like she doesn't matter drives her crazy. It's not about making her feel unimportant. It's about showing her you're whole without her. And women desire men who don't need them. They want to be wanted, but not needed. That difference is everything. So as we close this chapter, I want you to remember, detachment is strength. Boundaries are attractive. Your purpose must always come first. Because when you live this way, you become rare, and what's rare is always desired. Comment below. Type, I choose my mission. First below if you're committed to mastering detachment and leading with purpose. Chapter 3. Building unshakable boundaries and standards. Listen carefully now. We've talked about attention as currency. We've talked about detachment as power, but none of that works without boundaries. Boundaries are not walls to keep women out. They're fences that protect your self-respect. Without boundaries, you're not strong. You're agreeable, pleasant, nice. And let's be honest, nice is often code for weak. Women don't want weak men. They want men they can trust. Men who won't let themselves get walked on, men who have standards and enforce them calmly. This is the key difference between being a man she plays with and a man she values. So what does a boundary look like? It's very simple. It's saying, this is what I accept, this is what I don't. And if you cross the line, I'll walk away without anger, but without hesitation. Boundaries are not threats. They're not ultimatums delivered with anger or emotional manipulation. They're quiet lines drawn with complete certainty. And that certainty is deeply attractive. Let's get specific. Say you're dating a woman who cancels on you last minute, repeatedly. Most guys argue. They vent their frustration. Or worse, they forgive her immediately and ask when she's free again. What does that communicate? That your time is worthless. That you're so desperate you'll take whatever crumbs she gives. A man with boundaries? He doesn't scold her like a child. He simply stops rewarding that behavior. He reduces his availability He doesn't reschedule instantly, he makes her feel the loss of access to him. And if she continues to disrespect his time, he walks away permanently, no drama, no revenge, just standard enforced. Or think about disrespecting conversation. Maybe she insults you as a joke. Many men laugh nervously to avoid tension, but you're not most men. You don't reward disrespect with approval. You calmly say, "Don't talk to me like that." If she gets defensive, you don't argue. You disengage. She'll test you. She wants to know if you'll break, if you'll backpedal, but if you hold the line, she'll respect you, because women don't trust men who can't protect their own dignity. Boundaries create polarity. Polarity is the essence of attraction. Feminine energy wants to test. Masculine energy holds steady. If you collapse under pressure, you're not masculine. You're a boy pretending to be a man. But when you can hold tension without flinching, you're the rock in the storm. You're the leader she craves. This is emotional intelligence in action. It's not about fighting. It's about knowing when to disengage, knowing when silence is more powerful than words. Emotional intelligence is the art of knowing what you feel, why you feel it, how to respond instead of react. When she pushes your buttons, you don't explode, you don't grovel, you don't abandon yourself to keep the peace, you stand your ground. And let's talk about a subtle but crucial point. Boundaries apply to you first. Most men can't enforce boundaries with women because they don't have them with themselves. They break their own word, they skip their workouts, they procrastinate on their mission, they live in distraction and weakness. A man who can't say no to his own temptations will never say no to hers. So the work starts with you. If you tell yourself you'll do something, do it. If you promise yourself discipline, keep it, because how you treat yourself sets the standard for how you let others treat you. Now let's talk about outcomes. Boundaries mean you're willing to lose her. This is the part most men can't stomach. They fear losing her so much that they betray themselves. They tolerate behavior they hate. They say yes when they want to say no. They twist themselves into a pretzel to avoid rejection. But here's the hard truth. The moment you fear losing her, more than losing your self-respect, you've already lost her. Women sense this. They know when you're clinging, and nothing kills desire faster. But when you're willing to lose her rather than lose yourself, you become magnetic, because that energy says, "I want you, but I don't need you." That's what allows her to trust you, because she knows you're not hiding your real self to keep her. You're showing up as you are, solid, unapologetic, boundaried. This is where most dating advice fails men. It tells you to just be confident, but real confidence isn't an act. It's the byproduct of standards. It's knowing you won't compromise who you are for anyone. And here's the irony. When you live like this, you attract women effortlessly, because you're not afraid to repel the wrong ones. You're filtering for quality, and quality women respect a man who can say no. So what does this look like in daily life? You don't chase validation. You don't over-explain your boundaries. You don't apologize for having standards. You reward respect with access. You withdraw access when disrespected. You remain calm under pressure. It's simple, it's not easy, but it's essential. Boundaries don't make you rigid, they make you trustworthy, because she knows exactly what you will and won't accept. There's no guessing, no manipulation, no chaos. That safety is what lets her relax into her femininity, and that polarity is what makes attraction flourish. So remember this. When you act like she doesn't matter, you're not saying she's worthless. You're saying, my standards matter more than your approval. And that's when she'll want you most, because she'll know you're the kind of man who cannot be controlled, cannot be swayed, and will never betray himself for anyone. That's the rarest man of all. Comment below. Drop a comment below with, "My standards are non-negotiable," if you're ready to start enforcing real boundaries in your life. Chapter 4. Becoming the man she can't resist. Living your mission and mastering presence. All right, now listen to me carefully. We've talked about the psychology of desire, we've talked about detachment, we've talked about boundaries, but here's the real heart of it all, the part that makes it sustainable, your mission. Because all the games, tactics, or clever lines in the world don't mean anything if you don't have something bigger than her to focus on. The most attractive men on the planet don't just act like they don't need her, they actually don't. Because they're driven, they're consumed with purpose. They have a vision so big that no single woman can ever be the entire point of their lives. Let's get one thing straight. Women don't want to be your mission, they want to be inspired by it. They want to feel they're joining you on your journey, not that they are the journey. When you have purpose, you radiate certainty. Your time has weight, your attention has value. You're not endlessly available. You don't drop everything to chase fleeting affection. You choose carefully where your energy goes. That selectiveness is profoundly attractive. Think about it. What kind of man are you today? Do you jump to answer every message instantly? Do you rearrange your plans because she's suddenly free? Do you cancel on commitments with friends or on your goals just because she's in the mood to see you? If so, you're telling her, I have nothing more important than you. That feels good for a moment. But it kills desire long term because she doesn't want to be your entire life. She wants to compete for a place in it. Here's the reality. When you act like she doesn't matter, you're not insulting her. You're prioritizing you, your growth, your vision, your mission. That's not selfish. That's leadership. Because only a man who leads himself can ever hope to lead anyone else. When she senses your purpose is unshakable, she relaxes, she trusts you, she admires you, and she desires you. Emotional intelligence is key here. This isn't about ignoring her to prove a point. It's about choosing when to be present and making that presence meaningful. When you're with her, you're fully there, focused, attentive. But when it's time to work, to train, to create, you're fully there too. You're not blowing up her phone. You're not waiting for her approval to feel good about yourself. You're a man of dual mastery, mastery of purpose, mastery of presence. That combination is lethal in the best possible way. And let's make this practical. What's your mission? If you don't know, find it. Stop making dating your full-time job. Stop obsessing over texts and game and what did she mean by that emoji. Start obsessing over building yourself, your health, your wealth, your character, your skill set, your vision for the world. Because when you do that, you no longer need any one woman to complete you. And ironically, that's exactly when women want you most. Now, here's another piece of emotional intelligence. Knowing when to let go. If a woman disrespects you, tests you past your standards, or shows she doesn't value what you value, you have to be willing to walk away, without anger, without drama, just clarity. Most men can't do this. They're so afraid of being alone that they accept any behavior. But let me tell you the truth. Being alone with purpose is infinitely better than being with someone who drains you. Or when you act like she doesn't matter, you're saying, my peace matters. My mission matters. My standards matter. And that forces her to choose, rise to meet you, or lose access to you. It's that simple. It's not about tricking her. It's about giving her a clear choice and giving yourself permission to only accept what aligns with your values. And this is why you need a tribe. Men lose themselves chasing women when they're isolated, when they don't have brothers to keep them accountable, when they don't have mentors who remind them of their mission. That's why communities like this matter, why conversations like this matter. Because you don't just want to date better, you want to live better. You want to be unshakable in every area, not just when you're texting her. Let's be clear. Acting like she doesn't matter isn't about playing games. It's about refusing to abandon yourself. It's about saying, I am complete, I am whole, I am on my path, and inviting her to earn a place in that life, not giving it away for free because you're afraid to be alone. So ask yourself right now, what do I want my life to stand for? What would I do even if no one was watching? What is my vision? Where am I betraying myself to win approval? Answer those honestly, because the man who lives those answers with integrity, that's the man she obsesses over. That's the man she loses her mind for, not the one who chases, but the one who attracts. When you're on your mission, when you're unbothered by her tests, when you live with unbreakable standards and presence, she feels it. She knows she can't move you with games. She knows she can't shake you with drama. She knows she has to bring her best self to stand beside you. That is irresistible. That's the man you're here to become. Well, so remember, act like she doesn't matter, well, because your purpose matters more. Act like she doesn't matter, and because your peace is priceless. Act like she doesn't matter, and because you do. And that's when she'll lose her mind over you, because you'll be the rare man who doesn't chase, but draws her in effortlessly. Comment below. Type, "I am on my mission" below if you're committed to living with purpose, presence, and unshakable standards.